Assalamualaikum, I'm Alia Kaisara from Group 4 and it's my team members, Arina, Fazrina, Christina and Adriana to explain coffee and bubble tea consumption costs. In today's urban lifestyle, drinks like artisan coffee and bubble tea are no longer just refreshment. They have become part of our daily routine, social life and even a way to cope with stress. This study focuses on how these small but frequent purchases affect our monthly spending. We use a multiple linear regression and model to analyze total monthly expenditure in Malaysian ringgit. In this research, total spending is the dependent variable. Factors such as the distance to cafe, average price per cup, brand loyalty program, and personal stress level are treated as independent variable. For many students and young professionals, this purchase may seem cheap, but over time they can create a hidden leak in monthly budget. The main objective of this study is to identify which factors have the strongest influence on spending and to build a predictive model that helps people estimate future. Ultimately, this research aims to show how lifestyle choice, emotion, and environment can significantly impact our overall financial well-being. Next, I will explain the methodology used in this study. This research used a quantitative research design where data were collected using a survey. This method is suitable because it allows us to analyze numerical data using statistical technique. The main data collected in this study is the monthly expenditure on coffee and bubble tea. There is one dependent variable, which is monthly expenditure. The independent variables include the number of cups consumed per week, the average price per cup, the estimated distance from the respondent resident to cafes, the number of loyalty or membership card owned, and the respondent's daily stress level. Data were collected using a self-administered question distributed to students through Google Form. Respondents were given sufficient time to answer honestly and their identities were kept confidential. All information collected was used strictly for academic purposes. After data collection, the data were entered and analyzed using Microsoft Excel. Excel was used to organize, clean, and analyze the data, including calculating descriptive statistics and generating the multiple linear regression result.
So now I will continue with the data presentation. As you see, there is a bar chart here. This bar chart illustrates the regression coefficients for our 5 independent variables. It essentially shows how much these variables and each factor influence a student's monthly spending on beverages, which is coffee and bubble tea. The zero line represents no impact. Bars above the line shows a positive relationship, while bars below indicate a negative one. Starting on the left, we see cups per week, which is variable 1, has a very small positive coefficient of 0.041. This tells us that as the number of cups consumed increases, expenditure rises slightly, but the impact is minimal compared to other factors. The most significant, which we want to highlight here, is the deep red bar here for the average price, which is variable 2, with a coefficient of negative 1.342. This is our only statistically significant predictor. The negative direction confirms that as prices increases, students significantly reduce their total monthly expenditure, showing a high level of price sensitivity. Next one is estimated distance, variable 3, shows a negative coefficient of negative 0.361. This suggests that as the distance from a residence to a shop increases, spending tends to drop, likely because the lack of convenience discourage frequent purchases. Finally, both loyalty cards, variable 4, and stress levels, variable 5, shows negative impacts of negative 1.464 and negative 1.508 respectively. While these bars look large, it is important to note that they were not statistically significant in our model. However, the trend suggests that the highest stress or more loyalty cards did not lead to higher spending in this group. In summary, the chart makes it clear. While consumption frequency and distance play a small roles, but price is the dominant force that dictates how much students are willing to spend each month. Now, let's transition into how we turn this raw data into a mathematical framework using multiple linear regression and Microsoft Excel. So, we constructed a model using dependent variables, which is monthly expenditure, and 5 independent variables, that is cups per week, price, distance, loyalty cards that students have, and stress levels. Our goal was to see which of these actually moves the needle on student spending habits. Our 5 variables explain about 14% of the variation in student spending on beverages. This result, which is suggesting that student spending habit is complex and influenced by many factors that is outside of our study.
Now, based on the data that we have collected, looking at the coefficient, the most interesting finding is the average price. It has a coefficient of negative 34. This tells us that for every 1 unit increase in the price of the drink, the total monthly expenditure actually decreased by 1 ringgit 34 cents. Assuming all other factors such as cups per week, distance, loyalty cards, and stress and daily stress show minimal or weak impact on total monthly, which means consumers are price sensitive. As the price goes up, they likely buy much less frequently. Next, is the significance or p-value. When we analyze the significance, we'll look for p-value that less than 0.05. In our model, average price is the only statistically significant with a p-value that is less than 0.05, which is 0.033. Other factors like daily stress levels or cups per week turn out to be not significant in this specific group as they are higher than 0.05. Next is model fitness and R-square and F-test. When we look at the R-square value, which is 0.140, this indicates that 40% of the variation in student spending. Well, this means that most of the student spending behavior is influenced by other factors such as student allowance or flavor preference. Furthermore, our overall model fitness p-value is 0.138, which suggests that this does not yet reach statistically significant as a whole.
Hi everyone, my name is Nur Kristina Rose binti Erazmi and my number metric is AA250303. Today, I would like to explain about these slides. Okay, first, the model explains only about 50% of the variation in spending, which is such a low adjusted R-square. It also means the overall explanatory power is weak. Next, we take a look at overall significance. From the ANOVA test, the significant F is 0.138, higher than 0.05. This tells us the model as a whole is not statically reliable. Third, let's take a look at key variables. However, one factor stands out, the average price. Its p-value is 0.033, which is significant. The negative coefficients show that when prices goes up, monthly spending goes down. Lastly, other factors. All the other variables tested had p-value about 0.05, meaning they don't have a meaningful impact on spending. Also, we take a look at final insight. In short, this model has limited predictive ability. Price matter, but other visual factors likely play a bigger role in behavior costs. Thank you. Hi, I want to make a conclusion to this slide. Okay, this study used multiple linear regression to analyze what affect monthly spending on drinks like coffee and bubble tea. This model only explains 30.96% of the variation in spending, which means it has a low explanatory power. Also, out of all the variables tested, only X variables 2, means likely average price, had a statistically significant negative effect, meaning higher price tend to reduce monthly spending. And the other variables didn't show significant impact, so they don't strongly influence spending in this dataset. The overall model wasn't statistically significant at the 5% level, meaning the selected variables aren't enough to reliably predict beverage spending. Also, for better result, future research should consider adding more relevant variables or increasing the sum to improve accuracy and significance. Thank you.
In conducting this study, several relevant and well-established references were used to ensure the accuracy and credibility of the research method and data analysis. Firstly, the book Statistics for Business and Economy by Anderson, Sweeney, and Williams was used as the main reference for statistical concept. This source helped in understanding data analysis techniques such as descriptive statistics, probability, and interpret. This source helped in understanding data analysis techniques such as descriptive statistics, probability, and interpretation of results, which are essential in making informed decisions based on data. Next, research designed by Creswell provide guidance on the overall structure of the research. This book was particularly useful in identifying the appropriate research approach with the qualitative, quantitative, or mixed method. It also helped in designing the methodology and ensuring that the study follow a systematic and logical process. In addition, Microsoft Excel Corporation was used as the main tool for data collection and data analysis. Excel were used to organize data, perform calculation, and create table and graph to present the result clearly.
Apa ni? 45 ni apa?
Lastly, introduction to linear regression analysis by Peck and Winning was used to support the regression analysis conducted in this study. This reference help in understanding the relationship between variable and interpreting regression result.
That's all is our presentation. Thank you for watching.